My parents were not charter members, as many of you know, but they were a part of the community here in this area, West Ham and Allen. It was when the Dreamers were beginning to formulate our church, and Mother and Daddy were very much a part of it, but Daddy had one of these jobs he couldn't get out of at West Hampton Baptist Church, and it was called calling a new preacher. So unfortunately, he was not a part of being a charter member. But now, the fireplace. Remember the movie Back to the Future? To refresh your memory, a young teenage boy had the experience of going back 30 years from 1985 to 1955 in a time-traveling DeLorean auto built by his eccentric scientific friend. Well, here we are in 2022, and I want you to put your space helmets on and stir up your imagination to 75, actually 76, thanks to our friend COVID, 75 years ago, basically. The small contingency of charter members at River Road Church Baptist had a vision for the property that they were able to purchase on the corner of River and Ridge Roads. It was a beautiful, lovely, wooded spot. They dreamed of building their church on this property. They knew it would take years to completely fulfill their dream or their vision. But these young men, think of yourselves, began clearing the property. And I'm sure that their women provided lemonade and refreshments as they worked. Soon, in 1948, they had a large enough space to build a beautiful brick fireplace. The fireplace was surrounded by picnic tables on the edge of nowhere in the middle of what is now the north parking lot. And all of these developments basically were not to be found. We were close to the University of Richmond, and there were a few communities that had built up, primarily professors, professional people who had moved out to this area. The bricks, the bricks that compose our fireplace were donated by Mr. Wilton Thomas, who was one of the original three dreamers, Dr. Height, Dr. Daniel, and Mr. Thomas. It was the first edifice or building on our property. But since it now served as an informal gathering place for religious purposes, it was excluded from being taxed, and they could proceed from that point. Our worship services were still being held in Cannon Memorial Chapel at the University of Richmond, but worship gatherings preceded by yummy, yummy potluck dinners or burgers on the fire, hymn sings accompanied by the small pump organ that was part of our history display. How many of you saw that? Little thing. And brief devotionals and fellowship could be enjoyed around the fireplace. Children had time to play and explore and enjoy their friends, but were always required to be quiet while those gathering worshiped and thanked God for their vision and guidance for the future. Imagine, this looks like a pretty big fireplace right now, but imagine this edifice or fixture here in the middle of that driveway. It was a small piece. It was set among the trees in a partially cleared lot. Just look at what that dream brought to us 75 years later. Bit by bit. The fireplace was moved from its original location in the parking lot when expansion construction began. It was moved brick by brick to rebuild, to present to its present location as a symbol of this early vision.